Hi, this video is going to help you understand the intention behind doing the movement and work capacity assessment for you. Now, we are going to be basically discussing in this video what this format is, how it's needs to be executed, and why do you see assessments scheduled like 3 times in the week. Now, let me first start with helping you understand what do we mean by movement and work capacity assessment. So there are two aspects over here which I want to test for you. The first is your movement. Okay. Now, quality of movement is very important if someone is looking to improve their physical fitness. So, how you move in your day to day life on the gym floor is very important. And we are trying to refine the way you move on the gym floor, which is eventually going to translate into better functionality and day to day movement in your daily lives. Now, first part is that. Second part, when I say work capacity, which means we are actually trying to test your aerobic health. Okay. Aerobic health, or I can even say your cardiovascular health, the combined working capacity of your heart and lungs. Cardiovascular disease are one of the major causes in India why people have a, you know, early demise in the family sometimes. So a lot of people die. The mortality rate is very high in India specifically, and one of the major reasons is cardiovascular diseases. I think it ranks either on the third or fourth position. What we are trying to do is that we are trying to also enhance your aerobic capacity, working capacity at the same time. So these are the two aspects that we are going to test you on, your movement and your work capacity, because when it comes to physical fitness, these two play a very important role. So improving your skeletal mass, your muscle mass, your efficiency of your cardiovascular system. So all these things are going to play a very important role for us. Now, apart from the movement and work capacity assessment that we have here, there is also a body assessment regarding which I'm going to send you details separately. But if I have to explain you while this video is on, so body assessment is nothing else but trying to understand that what is your current body mass consisting of. So there are two major components to this. So we want to understand your fat mass, your muscle mass, also understand basically your body fat percentage, which is going to be derived from the numbers that I mentioned above earlier. So once we have the your total body weight and once we have the muscle mass and the fat mass in kgs, we can actually derive using a calculation the body fat percentage also. But if you go for an in-body analysis assessment for your body composition, we will get this number already on the report. Now, some people may get confused what is a in-body analysis. So in-body basically is a company. Okay. It's one of the very, very prestigious brands across the world in body, which basically specializes in making body composition machines to help you identify what does your body composition comprise of. So how much fat are you carrying? How much muscle are you carrying? And they have so many different models. The more expensive the model, the more elaborate and detailed is the report. Okay. Now, depending on which gym are you training at, or maybe if you have a good gym around your house, they will have probably some of this technology there in order to help us understand your body composition. So just check at your gym or check at the gyms around your house, at least if someone has an in-body composition machine. Now, coming back to movement and work capacity assessment, the assessment only makes sense when basically you know how to apply the skill. Okay, which is also probably one of the reasons why you see that I have scheduled the movement assessment on day 1, day 3, and day 5. Okay. Now, what happens is that sometimes people who are starting the journey with us, they are actually ranked beginners and they've never really experienced formal training in the gym in a very organized and systematic manner. So, if you don't know how to perform the movement, there is no point in testing you, because it's like if I let's say if I get a child and tomorrow I get the child to write a paper on, let's say write an essay in Chinese language. Okay. Now, obviously, if the child has not studied the Chinese language, it's going to be tough for him to write an essay. So he may leave the paper blank. Some examiners may actually give a 0 because he has left the paper blank. But if you see the catch here is that he left the paper blank because it was asked that he needs to write the essay in Chinese. Most of the Indian kids, I think majority of the Indian kids don't know Chinese language, right? So it's not that the child did not know the topic and did not write the essay because of that, but basically because he did not know the language. Had it been in English, he would have written it. Sorry. So that comes to the major point. If you don't know how to perform a particular movement, if I immediately put you on a testing format, you're going to be having a hard time because you don't know how to perform it. You don't know how to do it. Which is why I would want you to practice the movements on day 1 and day 3 in your movement assessment and then perform it finally on the day 5 and then submit the videos accordingly. Because in these movement assessments, on day 5, I would want a video to be captured. At least one set of every exercise needs to be captured on video so that I can assess it. Now, if your question is, how do I do this? So don't worry, if I open this particular plan, so if you see, it actually helps you understand here what are the guidelines for basically shooting your videos. So choose a good location, use proper lighting, camera setup, how do you need to do it? How do you frame the shot? How do you perform the exercise? Everything. I've given you a lot of pointers here so that you can actually perform these exercises properly and then also shoot it and send it to me. Okay. Now, even when it comes to actually executing all the movements, right? If you see, there are already instructional videos attached with every movement. You can always click these videos. It's going to open in YouTube. Okay. And you will be able to see how it needs to be performed. And accordingly, you can do it and send it to me. Now, don't worry, these movements are very simple. Okay. These are the most basic fundamental movements that a person should be able to perform. So if you still find it very confusing and you're still not able to do it, don't worry. Then I know that probably then you are not ready for an assessment. Okay. But since we are working together for the first time, okay, we have to go through a formal route to see how much you understand these movements and what is the quality of execution. If there is no execution at all, then we know that we have to start even a lot more basic than what it is in the assessment. So we have to go really, really simple and basic with you. Okay. Otherwise, if you can perform this thing well, then I know what next steps to take in your training journey. Okay. So everywhere there is a supporting video, there are instructions written on the slide itself. And if you scroll through all of them slowly, you will see the videos how to perform, and then there are instructions in the video itself wherever it was needed. And yeah, these are the movements, toe touch assessment, where basically these are the movements that you're supposed to hold for. Okay. So here what happens in that, in let's say a front plank assessment, so front plank assessment is a static position that you're going to get into and then you're going to hold it. So I want you to be able to hold for at least 45 seconds. That's the target given here. Time 45 seconds. Okay. And if you can do it for 45 seconds, fantastic. Record the whole video, send it to me. Again, side plank is going to be holding movement. Squat, hip hinge assessment. Okay. These are not holding. Basically, these are some movements that you will perform repetitively in a set for about 10 or 12 times, depending what number is written where. For squat, it's 12. For hip assessment, we are trying to see how do you move your hips up and back, up and back. Okay. 10 times. Push-ups, we are going to do 3 sets of 5. If you see everywhere, I have given 2 to 3 sets for most of the movements. It's because I want to see if it takes you time in order to get into the position correctly on that particular day of the assessment. Okay. So don't be bothered that you have to do 3 sets. If you can do 2 sets also, it's okay, because eventually I want to see the quality of movement right now. I'm not judging you on how many repetitions you can do or how exhausted you get or how much are you able to push yourself in a state of fatigue. No, I'm not testing you anything. Your mental toughness is not getting judged over here. We actually want to see if you can perform that particular movement efficiently. and how effortlessly you can do it, or if it's taking you a lot of effort. These are going to guide the future steps. Okay. So again, for like a pull-up also, if you think that it's difficult to get 5 reps, it's okay. If you can do 3 reps, go for it. The quality of movement is important. 1 rep will not be enough for me to understand what went right or what went wrong in the movement. So about at least 3 to 4 reps is, or 2 to 3 reps would be minimum that I would like to see in a pull-up and a push-up assessment. Okay. Uh, Again, same thing, lunge. So I've mentioned 3 sets of 8 reps, but again, not necessary. You can do 6 reps, you can do, or probably stick to 8 reps for each leg. Okay. 8 reps each leg. And instead of doing 3 rounds, if it's too exhausting, or if sometimes people don't know how to lunge properly, they've not learned properly with their previous coaches, knee starts hurting, please don't push yourself to the extent where it starts hurting the joint. Okay. uh, we are just trying to see quality of movement. If the movement quality is not good, it might hurt, so no point doing it. Okay. Again, toe touch assessment is a hold. I want to see if you're able to touch your toes and hold for about 20 seconds. Again, reverse plank again is a very beautiful thing. It's going to help me understand how tightened up are your shoulders and your chest muscles if you're able to hold that position well. Okay, look for the reference video, very beautifully executed. And then in the end, basically box breathing. Now, box breathing is not something that I'm trying to assess you on. Okay. See, I'm just going to rename it to recovery, which means I'm just trying to give you a good time, sit, do some breath work, relax yourself, and go back home. Okay. So for box breathing, I obviously don't have a reference video because it's a breathing technique. But if you click the exercise and look for the instructions, I have given text instructions in which will help you understand how to perform the box breathing. It's a very famous method of breathing for relaxation. You can even just Google it, box breathing, and you should be able to find the instructions. Okay. So this is the overall assessment structure for movement assessment. Okay. Now let's just open the work capacity assessment, and I'll guide you through small pieces of how you're going to perform this. Okay. So again, if you see, the work capacity assessment has also been scheduled 3 times. Okay. Because I want you to get comfortable with the format of the assessment and then basically test to actually see your true potential. Okay. Because if I had just kept it once in the week, you would be completely surprised looking at the format, and probably you would not be able to express your best. Okay. So your best expression may not actually be seen or captured on camera because you're still a little confused and trying to get comfortable with the format. So, which is why I have scheduled it 3 times so that you can practice it twice and then perform your best on the third attempt. Okay. So, how are you going to do the work capacity assessment? Okay. Again, video instructions are given here how you're supposed to capture the video. And I've explained in 3 basic lines what are you going to do and what is expected to be done. Okay. So, we are going to start with a full body warm up. Okay. The warm-up video is already given to you. You can always click the video, see it at home, even one day before the assessment is done. Okay. You can always go through the video and see what all details are shown. And then accordingly, on the day of the workout, you can actually come and perform it using the video. It's a good 10 to 12 minute video. So you can keep pausing it and doing the movements along with at the rate at which the video is moving. Okay. Now, along with the movements that I've shown in the video, you need to perform those. And then I want you to take like a 1 mile walk. Okay. 1 mile walk. And what does it say? Walk a mile at slow pace to get the body ready for the work capacity assessment, which means I'm trying to get you into mood. I'm trying to prime your nervous system to basically get ready for the challenge which is going to come. Okay. So 1 mile walk at a slow pace. Thakna nahi hai. I don't want you to get tired. I don't want you to get exhausted. I don't want you to get sweaty. Okay. This is just a priming so that we get your body ready, we get your brain ready in order to execute the challenge which is going to come later. Okay. When I say 1 mile, 1 mile equates to about 1.6 kilometers. So in some countries they use miles. So it's easy for you. For people who are using this in India, if your treadmill shows mile, but you don't know kitna kilometer hota hai, you don't know what's the distance like. So it's 1.6 kilometers is the distance target that I want you to complete. And once you finish the walk, then we come to the next part, which is your actual test. Okay. Now on the test, ideally, I recommend doing a Airdyne bike. Okay. Airdyne bike is basically, it's an air bike which has handles moving. Okay. So it's a cycle with basically handles where you can even produce a lot more force by, using your hands to generate force along with the legs. So that is my favorite thing, which I would always recommend everyone. But let's say, for example, you have a cycle in your gym, but the display is not working, then it doesn't help us, because then it's not probably the best choice for us, because we will not be able to see how many calories you burn. And the whole challenge here is to see how many calories you're able to burn in 10 minutes. Now, people will be like, okay, what speed should I do it at? What should be my intensity on the cycle? I don't care. You can go as per your choice on the intensity, because when you start doing a formal program, I will give you the recommendations for intensity, but this is testing. So I am only looking at how many calories you are able to burn in 10 minutes. It's a challenge. So you go as fast or as intense as you want, or keep it very moderate or keep it very easy, because I'm going to be judging you on that number of calories that you burn in 10 minutes. So best thing, like I said, I would advise air bike. If you want to see what is an air bike, I've already given a video over here. You can always click it in the app and see what is an air bike. I've mentioned it. But in case your gym doesn't have an air bike, I think any other piece of cardio equipment where you can get some good data on the display, specifically the number of calories burned, is probably a good starting point for us. So probably like an elliptical trainer or treadmill. If you think that you can run on the treadmill, fantastic. Then we can take running as an option, or you can use the elliptical as an option, and then probably try to see how many calories you can burn in maximum 10 minutes. So that will give us some baseline idea of your aerobic health and your work capacity currently. Okay. So this is what the work capacity assessment is like. And yes, so give it a try. Maybe probably the first 1 2 days, try it. Drop me a message on WhatsApp and tell me if you have any other questions that I can help you with. There is any other clarification that you want on the format. And all the best. Take care.